season 19, episode 1 of Sister Wives, and I'm going back and I'm rewatching it to kind of get a sense of like, what do I see now that I've seen 20 episodes of this season? And one of the really astounding things is that from the very first episode, they're talking about the family, the larger family, and they're talking about the divorce and how Cody feels like he's not close to his kids because Christine and later on Janelle are bad mouthing him. And Robyn has this incredibly ironic thing where she's like, I've been through a divorce before. I know what the rules are. I would never bad mouth their mother to them. And of course, my first thought is, but we saw how you talked about your biological children's biological father. I mean, she had a whole speech where she basically implied that her virginity was stolen from her. She was pressured into it. And the worst thing ever happened, which is she got pregnant with Dayton. Like, we saw that whole speech. And of course, now we know that they gave this big purity speech to the kids, and Cody didn't even wait until marriage and all this stuff. But, you know, they had the whole adoption storyline where they talked about what a bad dad he was. And they were kind of like, I'm not going to say he's bad, but he's horrible, was kind of the whole thing. So her argument that she would never speak badly of Christine because she knows how it is with a divorce is like wild, because we're like, we know how you are with a divorce. And by that logic, you definitely talk bad about Christine. And of course, so they all talk on the TV show. But what's interesting was they really started off the season with this idea that the kids were being poisoned against Cody. And in the previous season, season 18, we had seen Cody around his other children. We saw them at the goodbye party. We saw him around Isabel. We saw that. And the beginning of this season, we saw him around his children. We saw him going to McKelty's baby sprinkle. We saw him, they briefly showed up for Gwen's engagement party, which not many of the other kids were there. And off screen, we know that he went to Logan's wedding. It was never said it was Logan's wedding. It was just that they went to a wedding. But in all of those instances, Cody and Robyn both iterate over and over again, we're the outsiders. We're the outsider. And that's even something that Christine said, is that she realized this is much more difficult for Robyn and Cody than it is for me. Like, they're on the outside with this. And we see this more and more because throughout the season, we see Janelle with her children. We see Christine with her children. We see Janelle with Christine's kids. We see Christine with Janelle's kids. We don't see Mary with any of the kids, but I don't think that is necessarily... I think it's a whole different issue. So let's just put that aside. That's a whole other video. But Cody, who is the biological father of all of those 13 kids, we don't see Cody with them very much. We hear a little bit about how Cody and McKelty are so close, but in fact, we don't initially see him. He doesn't go to the birth. Robyn does, but that's like the first quarter of the 20 episodes. And then the last, I don't even know how many, I can't even think of the last time that we saw Cody with any of his biological children other than Robyn's children, for like this whole second half of the first half of the season. So like episode 11 through 20. And it's just kind of odd because it's like, it happened so slowly. I knew that he was on bad terms. And here's the deal. If he had one child and he was on bad terms with them and he said it's Christine poisoning, I mean, I'm not saying that never happens, but he has 13 children. And it does not seem, we didn't see them visiting. We didn't see him visiting them. It doesn't seem like many people wanted to be filmed with him. It seemed like when he was around, everyone felt really uncomfortable. And so you kind of go, if there's 13 kids and he's in a bad place with, like, he's not even talking to more than half of them. You know, we know where Maddie's at. We know that Logan and Michelle, that he wasn't going to go and they said, please come. I think they're just doing that because they're honorable people. I don't think they necessarily were like, you know, I don't know. I shouldn't speak for them. But we know that he's in bad terms with many of Janelle's kids and many of Christine's kids. I don't believe he's speaking to Mary's child. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just a matter of, if you have 13 kids and everyone's in various degrees of a bad place with you, I don't think, and they all seem to be okay with their own mother. I don't think you can really be blaming other people. That's all I'm going to say.